So here we are, guys. I now have this turntable hooked up to my computer, which already has a ton of options plugged in via USB. And luckily, I have four extra ports on the front here, and I got like, I don't know, 10 or so plugged in behind with USB hubs. But yeah, this is a Ion Profile Pro record player, and of course, it needs a new needle because this player is so old, and I tried it out a couple years ago and the needle broke off of it. So luckily you can get the needle parts on Amazon for cheap, especially for this type of record player. So yeah, right now it's sitting on 78 mode, or I guess 33 RPM, and you can switch it between that and 45 RPM to play 45 format records. And it also comes with this little circular disc that you can just pop in here. That way you can play your 45 records on there and such. And unfortunately, this little hook here that's supposed to click and latch this in place so it doesn't come loose if bumped, but that little switch is broken, of course. But it's all good. Once I get a new needle for it, I'll play a little bit for you. So what this does, you can connect this to an audio system. There is red and white audio wires on the back of it. I will show you that here. And I got it tucked away down there for a little bit. And you can also plug it in via USB, like I said, to the computer, so you can play it through your computer sound system, or with software. This is one of those where you can actually record and back up your vinyl records and such to digital. So yeah, this is a record player. You won't see too many of these in stores right now. You see the portable Victrolas that they have like Walmart and such, but yeah, this is like a one-of-a-kind thing. You don't see these much anymore. But if you do want to back up your vinyl records and such to PC, this is the way to go. I'm pretty sure you can find these on eBay and Amazon. So let's go ahead and get the needle hooked up, and we'll play some records. Alright, so when I hooked this guy up yesterday, and I ain't used this in quite some time, and when I first used it years ago, it ran good, and then the needle was frayed and it snapped off, so I had to get a couple more needles. This is Bonpa. I got this from Amazon, so it's a kit of 2 needles for $13.99, which is a pretty good price for them. And this is the needle piece, and it comes with the protective cover over it as well. So let me go ahead and peel off the plastic here. Alright, now that we got that peeled off, we got our fresh needle. All we got to do is just slide it under the play arm here. And mind you, some record players will probably take the whole assembly, or some will just take the needle portion itself, and all you got to do is just slide it in there. Alright, there we go. Good as new. And like I said, this piece here, you can keep it. It protects it from dust and such, so you can just slide that over top of it. So now I got the turntable plugged into the PC, and I'm going to play a record, and we should hear the audio coming through the speakers. And what better way to test it is with the newly bought 72 Seasons from Metallica. I just bought this at Guitar Center. I love the way it opens up. You know, you got 72 Seasons, and I'm going to pull out the first LP here. And we got Kirk Hammett on one side, James Hetfield on the other. God, they gotten old. You know, they've gotten really old. They're all in their 60s right now. This beautiful LP right here. We're going to put it on here. We're going to play Lux Eterna, which is probably the shortest song on the whole album. And so let's go ahead and play and see if we get any out of it. go, guys. And as you can see, it is playing through the PC speakers. No real need for a surround sound system, but you can hook it up to a surround sound system. But I think this is pretty neat. You know, you can get one of these if you want to convert your audio to MP3 file, or if you just want to hook up your computer and play through it. And it's got a really beautiful sound to it. I like it. So yeah, this is a small record collection that I have so far. Most of these were my dad's. My dad has a whole bunch in the back. I just picked out a select few that I do like listening to. But I did pick these up at Guitar Center here. This was Metallica's latest 72 Seasons. This is a double album, double LP album. And usually, you know, with Metallica, their songs are pretty long, or any band that has long ass songs on them, they're going to have like 2 or 3 vinyls to them. And here's a classic for you. I'm sure a lot of you growing up had this. Appetite for Destruction from Guns N' Roses, of course. This is probably the better album. Well, they had some really good albums and all, but this is where they started out at. And then this is what my dad had growing up. And I figure I'd pick out some of the best ones. This is like best of CCR. You gotta have some CCR, you know? Some really good songs on there, too. And I think some of those, looks like my dad wrote on them, 70, 69. I guess that's the year that those songs released. So yeah, he probably just labeled out the years that those songs came out. This one, I grew up listening to my dad. This is one of my dad's, that's TV Funny Bone. And this has a bunch of goofy songs that, you know, our parents grew up on and you probably heard to, you know, like Witch Doctor, Yakety Yak, Disco Duck. That's a more popular one for the disco era. Look at this. That's a 70s thing right there. Mr. Microphone. You kids will never understand, you know, how our parents or your grandparents grew up on something like that. That was a little fun. Here's one from the 60s. You guys probably don't know who the Monkees were. They actually had a TV show back in the day, too. You can't go wrong with the Beach Boys, especially with summer coming up here in a few months. This is a double album, too, of a lot of their songs. So yeah, this is probably not the best album to have, but, you know, it's got some really good old ones on there. And if you're familiar with the movie American Graffiti, this is the soundtrack for American Graffiti, double album, of course. You got some screenshots in there from the movie, so that's going to be fun to play. And who does not love Elvis Presley? You gotta have some Elvis Presley in your collection. And my first record player growing up, I think I played the hell out of this record. You know, some really great songs on here I like. You know, In the Ghetto, Suspicious Minds, The Wonder of You. So you cannot go wrong with that. And of course, last but not least, you gotta have some Beatles. This is one of my dad's 62 to 66 double LP album. Beatles had a lot of great hits back in the 70s, and of course, you know, they broke up in the back in the 60s, I mean, and then they broke up, you know, right around the 70s and all, and yeah, so they did have a lot of great songs back in the 60s going up. So this is definitely one of the best albums to have in a collection. This is the red album, I call it. They have a red album, they have a blue album of compilations. And I saw Abbey Road at Guitar Center, but I did not get that. I might get that next time. So what do you guys think? Do you guys collect records? Do you have a record collection? What are some of your joys? Let me know down in the comment section.